Hi there. So today we're going to talk about go-veeam-auth, which is a new package that I put together, which helps you do Veeam authentication with Golang, and basically supports pretty much all the APIs that Veeam has. So if you look through the go here, you can go to this documentation via shape.go-veeam-auth on my GitHub. Shows you how to add it to your project here. Gives you an example of the use, and also gives some information about the profiles that you can use here as well. So pretty much all of them are there. It doesn't support multi-factor authentication yet, but again, maybe something I'll add in the future. Anyway, we're going to go into how to use this live in a second. So let me just go over to my VS Code. So what we're going to do to start off with is we're going to initiate a module by going go mod init, and I'm going to call this test client. And you can see I've got my go module file here, and I'm also going to now add the package, my go-veeam-auth package to this. So I'm just going to do that, and you can see that is now being added to the go mod file. We are next going to add a new file called main.go. I'm going to hopefully make this a bit bigger. Main. We'll save that. See if I can make this any bigger. There we go. We can see things a little bit better now. Okay, so we are going to create a main function, func main.go, func main. We're just going to check that it works by go fmt.println, and we'll just do the hello world. So I'm just going to clear that and go run main.go, and it works. That's all good. Now, what we need to do when we're using this package is we first need to create a profile. So as I mentioned earlier, there's different profiles with this package. So we're going to call this profile. Oops, profile. If I could spell profile. There we go. GVA dot get profile, and we're going to pass in VBR because we're going to use the Veeam backup replication. So it's going to complain until I import the package. So it's the imports, and we're just going to go, let me just grab that from the go mod file. Hopefully that will sort itself out. Good, there we go. So we're now going to get the profile. Now the profile is pretty simple. It's just, if I do fmd print ln and go profile, and we just print this out down here, you'll see basically it's just a bunch of stuff that's required to do the initial authentication, so the headers and such. But it's all pre-created, so you don't need to do that work. Next, I am going to do an address 192.168.0.106. My username I've set up as an environmental variable, so I can do os.getNewV and just pass in username. Next, I'm going to set up a HTTP transport within secure. So http.transport and you can then do TLS client config and TLS config and then insecure script verified true. Next, I'm going to create a client, and as a pointer to a client, HTTP client, and we're going to pass it insecure. Yeah, is that right? TLS speak to client transport, and we're going to pass in that there. So you may wonder why I didn't add this to the actual package itself. Is because basically you're probably going to want to use the client more than once, so I didn't want to have that in the actual package itself. So next we want to go and get the token. So I'm going to do token. So this is the API token, and we're going to use one of the GVA options here, which is API login. And you can see here we can pass in the client, which is a pointer to a client, but fortunately it's already a pointer. The profile that I've created, the address, and the username. So if I do fmt.println now token, and we go down here and close it out, and then we do go run main.go, you'll see that I get my token back from the API. Nice and easy. So the next thing we want to do is I'm going to set up a endpoint. I'm just going to do the end part of the endpoint because there's a convenience function in this package which basically will build the URL for you. So infrastructure, and let's use my handy dandy thing when it works. There we go. /proxies, and we are going to create a connection string, which is going to be GVA dot build request, or build request URL. You pass in the address again, the endpoint, and the profile. Now if we do a fmt.print and there, and we are going to do a printf this time, do token CS, and we'll just run this again. We can see now you got the connection string there, got the token there. Okay, so you can see that's built out the string for me. So it's got the API /v1 backup infrastructure /proxy. So it saves me having to write that out manually. Right, next things we want to do is we need to build a request. So we do r and we do http dot new request. We'll do a get, pass the connection string, and we have no body, so we just do nil. What I'm going to do at the top here is I'm going to go func is and we're going to pass an as type error, and we'll do if not equal nil log dot fatal error. Okay, we're just going to basically handle the error there, and we are now going to just do error there. This saves having to write that whole piece out each time. So now we have the request, we need to add the headers to the request, so we can use again another GVA capability. So do GVA.add headers. We pass in the request, the profile, and the token that we've created. So now if we go to, if we were to look at the request, you'll see that the headers have been added to the request. Now we're going to go and make the request to the endpoint is and then we do the client.do r, and we're also going to do is like that. So we're going to handle that error again as well. Next we are going to do defer res.body.close. It's just make sure that body gets closed at the end of the program, and we are going to now convert that response into a byte array. So we do body and then we just do io.readall, and we are going to do res.body, and we're going to need that in a moment. Now I want to do this properly. I don't want to do just printing out just a string. I want to actually convert this into a struct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call this models.go. We call this package main. Just going to stay in the same package. And what we're going to do is flip over to my web browser again. Just make sure that worked. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go into the API documentation. I've gone down to the get all proxies section here. I'm going to copy and I'm going to use this website called JSON2Go struct. So just going to paste that in there, and that does all the work for me. I don't have to manually create the struct that I'm going to feed the data into. So going back to my VS Code again, we are just going to drop that in there. Now we don't want to use auto-generated. We're going to call this proxies because it is a group of proxies in this case. And we are going to come back here. Just a moment. and we are going to now instantiate we're first going to handle the error, and next we need to create a instance of the proxy struct, and we call this proxies. And now we need to unmarshal the data into that struct. So we're going to use data error JSON.marshal unmarshal. Actually, do any just no, that just comes back as an error. So we'll just do error and do JSON.unmarshal body, and we're going to pass in a pointer to the proxies, like so. And then we do is error again. Now it's going to complain because I've used that error already, so I leave that should go away. So we are now have an actual should have an actual struct there. The difference between this and a string is if you can't string is a string, you can't really get into any of the data. Whereas in this case, I can do fmt.println, and I can pass in like proxies.data, get the first item out of the slice, and then I can get the ID, for example. So if I go clear go run main.go, oh sorry, I need to now I've got two files. I just have to do dot. And you can see I've got back my ID for that proxy. Now, if I want to make this look pretty and actually have make it print out the full struct, we actually have to recreate a string, but we wanted to indent it. So if I do data error JSON.marshal indent, pass in the proxies, we then add in some spacing, then we do is error again, is error, and then we're going to do fmt.print, and then go turn it into a string, and then we're going to go to data. So this will this will marshal indents, will apply formatting to the output of the adjacent element. We're passing obviously in the proxy struct, and we're going to get back a byte array, at which point we can then convert this into a string from the data. So the result will be, if I just come down here and just run go run dot, you'll see that this now prints out as a JSON object. So anyway, that was a quick look at this package. I think it's useful. You saw how quickly I managed to start making requests to the Veeam API. So it certainly speeds your life up a little bit. Anyway, check out the package on the on GitHub. Try it out. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to drop them either in the chat or as a GitHub issue. If you're a Go developer and you fancy to contribute to this project, feel free to send me a pull request. Anyway, thanks for watching.